Paranormal Stories. It began with the fog. Clara had taken the late train to Harrington, a forgotten branch line where the carriages smelled faintly of coal dust, and the seats sagged under decades of weary passengers. She was on her way to an archival job interview, clutching her notes like a lifeline, when the train groaned to a halt between stations. She sighed, expecting another delay. But then she saw him. A face at the window of the derelict Harrington station. The building stood only a few yards from the tracks, boarded, silent, abandoned since the late 1980s. Yet behind the cracked glass, a man stared out, gaunt, hollow-eyed, skin pale as wax, his forehead pressed against the pane as if the years had held him there. Clara blinked, looked again. Nothing, only her reflection in the dark glass. Still, unease trickled into her bones. The air seemed thicker, the fog curling with intent. She shook her head, told herself it was imagination, perhaps a reflection from another passenger. Yet when the train refused to move and the conductor muttered about signal failures, her curiosity burned. She stepped down onto the platform. The Harrington station loomed like a corpse of brick and timber. Weeds sprouted between the stones. The old clock hung at a permanent midnight. The fog pressed so close that the world felt shrunk to a circle of silence. And then, again, the face, the man, this time unmistakable, standing behind the window. His hand rose slowly, palm outward, beckoning. Clara's heart thudded. She whispered to herself, "This is ridiculous. Old buildings hold echoes, that's all." Yet her feet carried her forward. The warped door groaned open beneath her push inside. The air smelled of damp wood and iron dust floated in her flashlight beam like drowned moths. There was no sign of the man, only a single bench, and on it, a suitcase. She froze. The case was leather, worn smooth by use, initials carved faintly into the sides, C.R. her own. Her throat tightened. She had never owned such a case, yet when she brushed her fingers over it, the leather seemed warm, almost pulsing. The clasp yielded with a sigh. Inside lay yellowed newspaper clippings, brittle and curling. Headlines screamed, "Young woman missing 1989, last seen boarding the 7:15 to Harrington." The photo chilled her. The face staring back from the grainy print was hers. Same eyes, same set of mouth, though the hairstyle and clothing were of another decade. "No," Clara whispered. "That's not possible." The boards behind her creaked. She spun around, beams slicing the shadows. Empty, yet the silence had changed. It felt watched. Her gaze darted to the window. What she saw rooted her to the floor. The glass reflected the room, the bench, the suitcase, but not her. Where her shape should have been, there was only empty air. And then she understood. The man in the window was no stranger. It was a self she had glimpsed long ago from another angle of time, caught in the reflection of a fate already sealed. The missing girl from 1989 was not a ghost at all, but Clara stepping endlessly into this place, over and over, drawn back each time the train faltered in the fog. The suitcase snapped shut, the light flickered, the boards whispered like voices rising from deep water. And outside, the train gave a final groan and pulled away, leaving the station swallowed again by silence and fog. This time, Clara did not return to her seat. She was already part of the story. Run Stories.